An Austin judge will hear from more witnesses today in the case of Austin police officer Christopher Taylor.
What we could expect from today's hearing and when he could get a sentence. Plus, the president of South Korea declaring martial law today, the latest from lawmakers as they vote to overturn that.
And we are starting to see a few isolated showers out there. I'll tell you where we've seen the most rainfall and how much more we could receive throughout the week. That's coming up in your first morning weather.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Defense attorneys for Austin police officer Christopher Taylor called their final witnesses today. That trial picking back up in just about an hour. Thanks so much for joining us this hour. I'm Avery Travis.
And I'm Will Dupree. Last month, the jury convicted Taylor of deadly conduct in the 2019 shooting death of Maurice De Silva. Police responded to 911 calls about De Silva walking around his downtown condo complex with a knife to his throat. Taylor's attorneys had argued that he acted in accordance with his training and in defense of himself and others, while prosecutors say De Silva had a profound mental health episode and police did not have to shoot him.
After the defense wraps its case, both sides will present closing arguments for the sentencing portion. Taylor faces probation to up to 10 years in prison. Our reporter Brianna Hollis will be in that courtroom when those proceedings resume. That should be around 1:15 this afternoon. You can also get a lot of the background on this case. Just look for this story on KXAN.com. We've been following some developing news for you. There's turmoil today in South Korea after the president there declared emergency martial law. Now lawmakers have voted to overturn his declaration.
We want to show you a live look from South Korea right now, where it's only about 3 in the morning, but you can see lots of activity there in the capital of Seoul. The president is accusing the country's opposition of controlling the parliament, sympathizing with North Korea, and paralyzing the government with anti-state activities. He made that announcement in a late televised briefing, vowing to, quote, eradicate pro-North Korean forces and protect the constitutional democratic order. It was not immediately clear at that time how this step would affect the country's governance and democracy. The move, though, drew immediate opposition from politicians, including the leader of his own conservative party, who called that decision wrong and vowed to stop it with the people.
The opposition party leader called the announcement illegal and unconstitutional, so lots of pushback, as Will said, on both sides. Now, the president's conservative People Power Party had really been deadlocked with the liberal opposition Democratic Party over next year's budget bill.
That opposition had also been attempting to pass some motions to impeach 3 top prosecutors. The Democratic Party called an emergency meeting of its lawmakers today, where they voted to overturn that martial law declaration.
First warning weather.
This afternoon, as we enter your noon lunch hour, we are looking live outside in downtown Austin, south and to the west there with the clouds moving in. We're tracking those clouds right now with meteorologist Freddie Vela. And Freddie, I'm seeing some green pop up there on the radar, which is a nice sight to see right now.
This is something we love watching, is those showers coming in. Unfortunately, not all of it making its way to the ground. Let's go and take a look right now at satellite and radar. Where are we seeing the most amount of potential rainfall? So we're looking out towards Gillespie County, moving into Llano County and Mason County, up 87. And there's a few pockets of showers there. And whatever's on the outer bands of that, not actually reaching the ground, but enough drizzle out there to at least to get the soil just a tad wet. We look out towards the Metro too, up 35. You're noticing just a couple of showers there. And then out towards Bastrop and LaGrange, we're getting the better chance of seeing some rainfall within those regions. Here's a live look out of Round Rock right now through the Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera, and some clouds rolling through there. Wind's not as strong today, around 5 to 10 miles per hour. You may see winds pick up just a tad as the day goes on, but I don't expect to see too much actually picking up as far as winds are concerned. And something that is starting to move on that upward trend is temperatures. 61 in Georgetown right now, 62 in Cameron, 64 in Rockdale, with everyone else looking at about 57 or below. 57 in Austin, 57 in Dripping Springs, 56 down down in Blanco. So what are we watching today? Well, all those showers that are coming through, we're going to get more of them. I'll tell you when those should be arriving. We're also going to be talking about a late week cold front that's expected to swing through, and then a second cold front that's on the way. Both of those helping out our temperatures. All this and so much more coming up in your First Warning Weather.
Freddie, thank you. A new study shows African-American students are lagging behind other students here in Texas.
That study from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board is a part of a new law that outlawed the use of diversity, equity, and inclusion offices at public colleges and universities in Texas. It looked at several metrics to gauge student success from 2022 and 2023. Notably, that's before this law took effect. Those included examining grade point averages and graduation rates. Critics of this law say that these findings prove more resources are needed on campuses.
We have to make an effort to build connection and community and give first-generation students and students of color and students from Black communities places where they can access resources that are for them.
Now, State Senator Brandon Creighton authored the law banning DEI, and he says he disagrees. He says he believes this data is proof that DEI caused poor performance.
We saw that across the state of Texas, the diversity, equity, and inclusion offices were taking us backwards.
The state agency will keep looking at the impacts of the law, and it says it'll release reports every 2 years.
Going in depth now, several corporations are rolling back their DEI initiatives amid mounting pressure from conservatives. Those include Ford, Harley-Davidson, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. However, Walmart, which employs nearly 2 million people, is the largest to do so. It said it will curb racial equity training for employees, stop giving priority treatment to suppliers based on race or gender, no longer sell some LGBTQ-themed items online that are marketed to children, and end funding for its Racial Equity Center. The retail giant added these efforts to its company's policy after the police killing of George Floyd back in 2020.
The president's pardon of his son this week is drawing scrutiny from both sides of the aisle.
Washington correspondent Maddie Beertemple has the latest reactions from Capitol Hill.
The sweeping pardon of Hunter Biden is getting backlash from both Republicans and Democrats after President Biden said he would not do this.
He simply went back on his word.
Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn, one of many Republicans calling out President Biden for pardoning his son.
This is blatant corruption and an abuse of the office.
If it was my son, I'd pardon him too. But here's what I didn't like. Don't lie to us.
Hunter Biden was set to be sentenced later this month over gun and tax convictions. Then the president issued a pardon Sunday after saying he wouldn't.
And I will not pardon him.
The reversal has led to criticism from his own party, Colorado Democratic Congressman Jason Crow calling it a mistake on X, and Senator Michael Bennet writing, President Biden's decision put personal interest ahead of duty and further erodes Americans' faith that the justice system is fair and equal for all.
He wrestled with it. He thought about it.
The White House says the president believes the charges against Hunter were politically motivated.
They targeted him because his last name was Biden.
The pardon covers not just the gun and tax convictions, but any federal offenses Hunter may have committed over the past decade. President Biden has not explained why he changed his mind on this, but in his statement Sunday, he says that he hopes Americans will, quote, understand how a father and a president could come to this decision. In Washington, I'm Maddie Beertemple.
One city in Central Texas is hoping Washington, D.C. can help prevent a crisis. How these local lawmakers hope federal ones can help them secure their water supply.
And today is the perfect day if you're in the mood for giving back. We'll show you a few nonprofits that you can connect with coming up.
Thanks again for joining us here on KXAN News at noon. We're showing you a live look from Fredericksburg. The clouds are moving in there as well. You might even see some sprinkles falling in your area in around Austin today. So we're going to check in with meteorologist Freddie Vela and Rich Siegel here in just a moment for an update on that and where the temperatures will go for the rest of the week here in just a few moments.
Nonprofits all over the world and right here in Austin, of course, are hoping generosity strikes on this Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving has become a day when nonprofits rally to fundraise on the heels of some of the biggest shopping days of the year. KXAN's Mercedes Hernandez is joining us here in studio this afternoon. And Mercedes, you spoke to quite a few people who are very excited this is happening.
Yes, lots of people super excited for this Giving Tuesday. And I feel like the attitude is kind of, if the wallets are open on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, why not, bring it into Tuesday. But the folks that I mostly spoke with were with I Live Here, I Give Here. You'll know them as the organization that puts on Amplify Austin Day. They say the mission of both days are similar, and that's raising money for good causes. Last year, I Live Here, I Give Here raised just over $250,000 for more than 700 nonprofits in our area. I talked to Piper Steggy Nelson. She's the executive director there, and says the group connects nonprofits and the public, serving as a hub where people can look up causes close to them and donate online, all in one place. And while similar, Giving Tuesday and Amplify Austin Day are slightly different. Today, people all over the globe are raising money for nonprofits. But Amplify Austin Day, of course, is more localized, a fundraising effort that focuses here on our area. That usually taking place in March. Now, Steggy Nelson says whether it's today or tomorrow, nonprofits always need the support.
Both with Giving Tuesday and with Amplify Austin Day, we're really using them as a catalyst. It's an opportunity for the community to come together and say, we care, we want to give back, we want to contribute.
And she says they hope to raise even more money than the last year. Again, that number just over $250,000. If you'd like to check out what kind of nonprofits they support or just are out there in general, maybe donate yourself, you can find that in the article already up on KXAN.com. We also have this really cool article that also kind of lists out other things that you can donate, like your time and toys this holiday season as well. So if it's in your heart to give, please do this year. We've got resources for you.
And there are plenty of options and places looking for that help.
Yes, yes, always, always.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting those.
Yeah, of course.
We appreciate it, Mercedes. And I know we were saying we've gotten another gift from Mother Nature, and that's maybe a little bit of rain in some parts of Central Texas.
Just very little right now, but we'll take what we can get and hopefully get more over the next couple of days. Satellite and radar continuing to show some of the green flowing through and giving us just a few showers here and there. Bastrop and LaGrange, the best spots to see some showers this afternoon. Well, now it's after 12, so afternoon. And then another round of showers looking like it's picking up just south of I-10, but that already making its way into the hill country, and we could see a few more showers there. Zoom out a bit more for the rest of the state. It's just this one area of showers: San Antonio, San Angelo, Austin, towards Houston. Everyone else is pretty much dry at this point. Lubbock, Dallas, no rainfall up there. In fact, Dallas much sunnier right now. Current temperatures 57 degrees in Fredericksburg, 58 in Mason, 63 in Llano, 60 degrees in Marble Falls, 57 in Austin, and San Marcos currently sitting at about 62 degrees with temperatures this evening expected to move back into the 50s by 7 p.m. 58 there, and by 9 p.m. around 57. But the chance of rain continuing, this model taking off all those little pockets of showers that aren't making it to the ground. But you'll notice over the overnight hours, around 3:30 in the morning, the chance of seeing a few more showers picking up, and then some heavier showers also possible as we get into tomorrow morning. Around 9:30 in the morning, you could see a few heavier showers, especially out towards eastern county. Wednesday itself won't be a complete washout, but again, isolated showers still possible. And then Thursday into Friday, that's going to be our next best chance of seeing a few more showers out there. So in case you decide to put out the lights for tomorrow morning, around 53 degrees, by the afternoon 61, and by the time we get to the evening hours around 60 degrees, a few showers, but again, it won't be a complete washout. High temperatures going to take a bit of a nosedive from Thursday into Friday, and that's thanks to the next front. We're already below average, which is great news. I'll show you the calendar in the next weather hit here. Our now normal temperatures around 66 degrees, but well below as we get out towards Friday. And that's thanks to another front that is arriving. Now that will actually take our temperatures down into the 50s for Friday, and that's going to be great news. Rain chances continue Friday into Saturday. Look at Friday morning too. 41 in Mason, 41 in Fredericksburg, 39 in Llano, 39 in Lampasas, 43 expected for Austin and Bastrop. Your 7-day forecast keeping us within the 60s ahead of that front. That front comes in. Look at those morning lows. Friday morning, Saturday Saturday morning in the 40s. The same out towards Sunday morning, 48 degrees. We slowly start to warm up as we get out towards Monday, and then another front flies through. We're going to talk about that second front in the next half hour, but here to talk about some cooler weather is Rich.
All right, we're going to get you ready for December. It started on Sunday. We had a high of 70 on Sunday, so we were a little above normal. Normal high starts at 67, drops to 62 for an average of 63.9, and the average lows are 43.4. It's the second coldest month of the calendar year with an average mean temperature or a mean temperature of 53.6, last year 55.8. It's the 8th wettest month of the season with an average total of 272. Last year 2.42, but 128 of that fell on Christmas Eve. So what we are expecting from the Climate Prediction Center is for temperatures to be slightly above normal. The darker shades of orange, and then you get out into those red shades, indicates a higher confidence of above normal temperatures, and precipitation expected to be near normal to, in some areas, perhaps a little bit above normal. We would love to get 2.72 inches at least for December to end the year on a high note, because for the 3-month period, September, October, November, as you know if you were with us yesterday, only 2.64 inches fell through the entire fall season that started September 1st, ended November 30th, and that was more than 7 inches below normal. So hopefully we'll do better this month. Will?
Thank you, Rich. An Elon Musk startup is expanding in Central Texas. What Neuralink is doing in Del Valle.
And it pays to be a gamer, literally. How one university here in Central Texas is utilizing scholarships to grow its esports team. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us. We've got some more news headlines for you. Elon Musk's Central Texas footprint keeps growing. His brain-computer interface company called Neuralink will expand in the area with more space and some more job openings.
It will be a 112,000 square foot facility on 37 acres in Del Valle. A filing with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation reveals some of the details. Construction on the nearly $15 billion building started this July. It will include a 3-story building with offices, a machine shop, and manufacturing space.
Neuralink posted several job openings on its website for the Austin area, ranging from engineers to software specialists to manufacturing technicians. And this isn't the first time Musk has expanded into Texas. As you know, he's already put down roots for Tesla, X, and the Boring Company earlier this year. Governor Greg Abbott cited a Bloomberg article saying that Elon Musk is now officially Austin's largest private employer.
The Tesla Gigafactory employs a lot of people in a lot of various roles throughout the manufacturing chain.
We did reach out to the contact for Neuralink listed on the state filings. We have not heard back just yet. According to those documents, though, the project is expected to be completed in May 2025. The Elon Musk footprint goes beyond the Austin area. His Starbase facility, one of the 2 SpaceX headquarters, is located in South Texas in the small town of Boca Chica. That's near South Padre Island. The aerospace company's rocket development and test facility sits outside Waco in McGregor, Texas. And last year, Tesla broke ground on a lithium refinery outside Corpus Christi in Robstown.
Elon Musk lost his bid yesterday to get his $56 billion pay package with Tesla reinstated. A Delaware judge upheld her prior ruling that the 2018 compensation plan was improperly granted. The package was the largest compensation plan in U.S. history for a public company executive. In an X post, Musk called the ruling absolute corruption.
As the population of Texas only keeps growing, the real estate experts at Redfin compared affordability between Austin and Houston. They focused on things like housing market prices, cost of living, job markets, and food and culture scenes. They found Austin's housing market is far more expensive. The median home price here is about $540,000. The average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is about $1,400. Meanwhile, in Houston, the median home price there is about $350,000, and its average rent is a little under $1,300 a month. However, when it comes to cost of living, Redfin actually found that Austin was cheaper than Houston. Groceries cost about 3% less here. But Houston wins in the food and culture category due to its diverse array of cuisines and its pro sports teams.
Esports are on the rise, with many colleges and universities now offering scholarships. One of them is right here in Central Texas with Concordia University. 30 members are on the team. 40 members, got to get that right, are on the team. The coordinator says the growth of the sport could really mean even bigger scholarships and better facilities in the future.
Right now we have 13 PCs in our facility, and we are looking at hopefully expanding in the summer. That way we could entice more students to come to Concordia.
Concordia University's esports webpage shows players must maintain a 2.0 GPA to play and to also be a full-time student. The University of Texas launched its own esports arena on campus last year. This is inside the Texas Union. The 3,400 square foot interactive space offers wall-to-wall gaming equipment with 43 gaming stations for students. UT says the arena is part of the university's strategy to be a world-class technology hub. St. Edward's University, Texas State University, and Southwestern University also offer esports.
The Moody Center is also set to host a worldwide major esports competition next summer. The prize pool is more than $1 million. For some perspective on the popularity of the sport, the economic impact of this event is expected to be around $40 million, with 50,000 fans likely to attend.
Popularity on the rise. There you go. Still to come here on KXAN, overdose deaths in Travis County are down. What officials say is contributing to the trend. Coming up.
And early voting begins for the Austin City Council District 7 runoff. That's going to last until next Tuesday. What other races, though, you can vote in?
Roof. In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Welcome back, everyone. We've been following some developing news all day as turmoil in South Korea continues. All of this after the president there declared emergency martial law, and lawmakers then almost immediately voted to overturn his declaration. We've seen some protests popping up across the city there, and now we are hearing people are gathered at the National Assembly building.
We want to show you a live picture there from a source provided by NBC News. As it zooms in on the entrance to the National Assembly, you can see people gathered there by the front doors. We also saw some protesters, maybe just a few, gathered on the other side of the street right outside this building. Now, the president did accuse the country's opposition of controlling the parliament, sympathizing with North Korea, and paralyzing government with anti-state activities. He made all of this announcement in an late televised briefing, vowing to, quote, eradicate pro-North Korean forces and protect the constitutional democratic order. It was not immediately clear at that point how this step would affect the country's governance or democracy. The move, though, drew immediate opposition from politicians of all backgrounds, including the leader of his own conservative party, who called the decision wrong and vowed to stop it with the people.
We also heard from the leader of the opposition party. They called that announcement illegal and unconstitutional. Now, the president's own conservative People Power Party had been deadlocked with the liberal opposition Democratic Party, focused on some disagreement over next year's budget bill.
And some of that conflict had also been to attempt to pass motions by the opposition party to impeach 3 top prosecutors. The Democratic Party, though, called an emergency meeting of its lawmakers, and as we mentioned, they went into the National Assembly and voted to overturn the martial law declaration.
Coming back here at home to Central Texas, some leaders are actually headed up to the White House today, asking for some help securing a resource that could soon be in short supply: water.
This afternoon, we are joined by our senior science reporter, Eric Henriksen. And Eric, thank you so much for being here. But why are these local leaders turning to Washington?
Well, the short answer is they're looking for funding, right? It always comes down to money, doesn't it? So they're desperate. City council members from Lago Vista are seeking federal help to improve their water infrastructure. Now, the small town is just a short distance from Austin. It has a population around 13,000, but it's expected to double in size in the next 10 years. Lago Vista is like many towns across the state, rapidly growing, but already struggling with its water supply. Currently, the city is using about 80% of its capacity. Expansion of the infrastructure is in the works, but it isn't something that's easy or cheap.
It's small projects over time that create the larger expansion. I have to get an engineering study. I have to apply for grants. Well, that takes resources that a small town like ours doesn't really have. Like a grant writer would be super helpful. We don't necessarily have that. So then I'm looking to the feds or I'm looking to the state. Do you guys have any way that can work with us as a resource?
Now, council members are meeting with the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. While the current administration is running out of time, Lago Vista officials hope this meeting can lead to connections within the government that could lead to funding in the near future. And here's why that funding is so necessary. One of the things the city needs is a new water treatment plant. Just doing the engineering for that plant, not the actual construction, would cost $3 million, 10% of the city's annual budget. Eric Hendrickson, KXAN News.
First warning weather.
Coming up on 12:35 at this point, and we want to show you a live look again from downtown Austin. Our southwest view there from the Austonian camera shows lots of clouds still hanging around today, Avery.
Meteorologist Freddie Vela told us this was coming, but I was still a little surprised when I looked outside and it was gloomier than it had been in days past. We got so used to that sunshine, but Freddie, what's coming up for us?
Yeah, the sunshine was here for a while. We got to enjoy it. And now time to get these clouds back in and hopefully get some showers as well. This is a live look at our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera in Southeast Austin. A beautiful shot of downtown from here. But this is the other thing I wanted to show you, all the clouds that have rolled in. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a few spots that have plenty of sunshine. It's the farthest down towards the south and the farther closer to the hill country you get and down towards LaGrange. That's where we have more cloud coverage pretty much. As you get out towards the northern parts, not as much. You get a bit more sunshine. 57 in Austin itself, 62 in San Marcos. They're now in the 60s club. Fredericksburg at around 58 degrees. Georgetown also joining the 60s club at 61 degrees. And Bastrop at about 62. We should top out at around 66 degrees for the day itself. Satellite and radar at this point showing a few more clouds, a bit more rain. Now starting to make its way through. If you're going to be traveling around I-10, that's where you're going to see that first round of showers, a line of showers they're going to be pushing through. And that hopefully will hold up long enough to get into Gillespie County and then into Mason, Llano, Blanco, and down into the metro, excuse me, as it comes through. In fact, let's zoom in a few spots. And Llano, just a couple of spots here and there. Gillespie, pretty calm for now. And we move out towards the eastern and metro counties. Again, Bastrop, down in LaGrange. This is the one area that's seen at least light showers coming through. But as we look at your 24-hour rainfall totals, numbers not impressive. Why? Because a lot of the green that you're seeing, and most of that rain is not even reaching the ground. So over the next 3 days, we still have a decent amount of rainfall ahead of us. A 40% chance on Wednesday, a 20% chance on Thursday, a 40% chance on Friday. And Saturday's not on here, but it's a 50% chance too. So I'm going to talk about all those rain chances for you. I'm going to talk about the next front and then a secondary front that's expected to come in. These will help our temperatures out. I'll talk about that in your first warning weather.
Freddie, thank you so much. For the first time in 3 years, Travis County says the number of accidental overdose deaths in the county is going down.
And the same is true for overdose deaths related to fentanyl. Those numbers come from the Travis County Medical Examiner. It released early data for deaths so far this year. Local leaders say the downward trend indicates education and the use of harm reduction tools like naloxone or Narcan are working.
Earlier this year, our community was rocked by a surge in opioid overdoses that affected hundreds of patients and resulted in 9 deaths. Had it not been for the foresight and support of our county and city leadership in combating the opiate crisis, I am certain the death toll would have been much higher.
Overdoses are the #1 cause of accidental death in Travis County. Last month, the county again extended its public health emergency focused on the opioid crisis.
A House committee focused on the origins of the coronavirus has some new findings on how the pandemic started.
House Republicans on that panel say the evidence, quote, increasingly supports the lab leak hypothesis in a report they released yesterday. The report blames a lab in China. Separately, President Biden asked federal agencies to investigate how the pandemic started without consensus. A report released last June says the National Intelligence Council and 4 other agencies say COVID likely started when a person was infected by an animal. However, the Department of Energy and the FBI say the first person was likely infected because of a lab leak. And then the CIA says it cannot decide.
I would urge us as Congress and the country to just accept both as plausible theories.
Scientists say they may never know for sure how the coronavirus pandemic actually began.
The Supreme Court is weighing whether the Food and Drug Administration unlawfully refused to approve flavored e-cigarettes. The court heard oral arguments in the case yesterday. The FDA has consistently declined to approve the flavored e-cigarettes, saying they pose a health risk and encourage young people to use tobacco. 9 justices appeared to be supportive of the FDA yesterday, but it is still possible the court could find fault in the agency's approach.
You have until next Tuesday to vote early in the runoff election for the Austin City Council's District 7 seat. Only people who live in that North Austin district, though, can vote in it. The race is between Mike Siegel and Gary Bledsoe. Election day is Saturday, December 14th. There is also a runoff for Austin Independent School District's at-large position 8. That's between Lindsay Stringer and Fernando Lucas de Uriosti. A runoff will also decide the race for the mayor of Manor, which is between Christopher Harvey and Tricia Campbell. And then we want to turn to Hayes County, where there's a runoff for Kyle City Council District 5. That's a race between Melissa Medina and Mark McKinney. Then in San Marcos, there's a runoff happening there too for City Council Place 5 between these two candidates, Lorenzo Gonzalez and Roland Saucedo.
A man faces a manslaughter charge following a deadly road rage incident in Hayes County last Friday. The sheriff's office says a fight between 2 men escalated when Charles Allen Rice punched John Paul Ramirez. Ramirez fell into oncoming traffic at 290 and Nettie Brown Road and later died.
This was 100% avoidable. We have a deceased person whose family won't have a loved one. And then now there's another family on this side where someone ends up in jail and charged with a second-degree felony.
The Hayes County Sheriff's Office is still investigating this incident. It's asking anybody with additional information to contact the lead investigator, and we've got information for how to do that. Just look for this story on KXAN.com.
50 schools across Austin are getting the chance to learn about how to provide for a safer climate.
It's all through a grant program aimed at climate action. The City of Austin's Office of Sustainability has announced 50 schools will receive these grants, totaling $146,000, all through the Bright Green Futures grant program. The funding will support 54 different student-led projects focusing on that climate action, each ranging from outdoor classrooms to school gardens to bike safety clubs. And it's all in the hope of providing hands-on learning to these students while at the same time supporting sustainability and contributing to a cleaner, safer climate for all of us here in Austin. Now, this all launched in 2012, and since then 142,000 students across 90 schools have been impacted by this program. Cool stuff. All right, colder weather means you may be using your heating equipment more at the house, so we're going to have some tips to keep you warm without causing a fire next.
Hi again, everybody, and thanks again for joining us here on KXAN News at Noon. We're showing you a look from atop the KXAN studios, showing you downtown where clouds are moving in. We've got an update about what we can expect for the rest of the workday and into your Wednesday coming up in just a moment with Freddie. We might still be in the fall season, but wintry weather has arrived with a fury in some parts of the country, and that means it's time to make sure the furnace is working properly to avoid any issues. As temperatures dip, furnaces are being used to heat the insides of homes, but they often spark fires. According to the National Fire Protection Association, more than 40,000 fires involved using some type of heating equipment between 2018 and 2022. However, yearly maintenance can prevent these kinds of accidents.
You have a high efficiency furnace. Your furnace isn't vented out the chimney like it used to be years and years ago. Now it's vented out a PVC pipe out of the side of your house, which is lower to the ground. So if that pipe becomes blocked by snow or whatever, then the carbon monoxide cannot vent out of your house. So you need to make sure, you need to find out what kind of furnace you have first, and then make sure the vents are cleared properly.
Good advice for sure. Fire officials say that these yearly maintenances should also include clearing out the dryer vents. As someone whose house was pretty cold this past weekend, we turned on the heater a little bit early just because it was so uncomfortable. So we're already switching into that mode pretty quickly here in Austin.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing that we also have to realize is, unlike many other spots around Texas, the fireplace is used as well. So make sure that your fireplace is clean and ready to go. Just because you don't want to have any accidents and turn that fire on and then all the smoke is back in your house again.
Correct. Good reminders there.
Sounds like a Q&A coming up for somebody.
Sparking ideas there.
Need an idea? There you go.
Got one there.
Right here live on television. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rich.
Hey, you're welcome.
Here's something I don't need help with, taking a look at this radar, because we're going to be able to see exactly where some of these showers are right now. Moving through I-10, we have a line of showers that should start picking up. LaGrange as well have seen just isolated showers here and there, but a reminder, a lot of that not reaching the ground. We looked at some of those rainfall totals. They're still close to 0 in many spots because it's just so isolated. Some of it just drizzle, and then some of that drizzle not even making its way to the ground. So this is going to be our next best chance right here to see if any of that holds up and actually makes its way through Blanco, through Dripping Springs and San Marcos. Again, a reminder, that doesn't mean that it's not raining in certain spots. It just means that a lot of this is not actually making it to the ground. Zoom out a bit more for the rest of the state. You're seeing the most activity we're actually getting is down towards the Rio Grande Valley into Corpus Christi through Kingsville and then swinging right back up into San Antonio. So you can almost see pretty much where all of these showers have pretty much been all day long, with current temperatures right now at Camp Mabry at around 58 degrees, winds coming in at around 5 miles per hour. Pollen count, I know it's pretty early in the season, but Cedar, that is on its way up. That is in the high category and on the upward trend as well, with temperatures tonight expected to be at about 57 degrees. Winds continuing to come in at very light conditions there. Now, speaking of lights, let's talk about your light hanging forecast for tomorrow. We'll start off the day at around 9 a.m. Temperature should be at about 54 degrees, swinging it around to about 1 o'clock. Temperature should be at around 61 degrees. And then we get out towards the afternoon, not as warm as what we're expecting for today. Today we're expected to be about 66 degrees, tomorrow at around 63 degrees. And then by the time we get back to about 7 p.m., we're back down into the 50s one more time. We have two fronts we're going to be watching. The first one expected to arrive Wednesday into Thursday. That one should arrive, bring our temperatures down, and then we expect moisture to flow right back in for Friday and for Saturday. So if you don't get anything today and tomorrow, don't fret. It looks like Friday and Saturday, we're all going to have a chance to see some showers out there. Overall, the amount of rainfall still isn't super impressive. About an inch, maybe an inch plus, especially as you get out towards the eastern counties. So if you're going to be tailgating for Saturday's game, you may take an umbrella with you in case it starts raining in your spot. But we're looking about 45 for the tailgate itself. And for the kickoff of the game, we're looking at about 52 degrees. Texas and Georgia, that's going to be an interesting one. We look out towards Sunday into Monday. Here comes that next front. That one expected to push through on Monday, and that will clear things out. A drier front, if you will. And I'd expect for most of the showers to pretty much make their way on out. So 7-day forecast. A little bit of a roller coaster, not as bad as last week, though. 63, 64, front comes in 53 degrees, and then we slowly start to move our way back up into the 70s by Monday, and that next front arrives Tuesday at 65 degrees. With a look at national weather, let's go and send it over to Rich Siegel.
All right, we still have some light snow falling in upstate Minnesota. Moderate snow falling across parts of New York and Pennsylvania coming off of Lakes Erie and Ontario. And the rain in South Texas right now that has moved on up into our part of the state. We're looking at some very cold air that is bottled up across the country this afternoon, with temperatures in the teens across parts of Minnesota, North and South Dakota, into Iowa and Wisconsin. 17 at Fargo, 22 Minneapolis. Look, Memphis 36, Atlanta 42. Out to the west, we still have 30s across the Pacific Northwest, 50s and 60s in California, Southern Nevada, and that nice balmy 75 at Phoenix. We may have a few flight delays heading into Omaha today, according to this, but then as we get into the 6 o'clock hour, if you got a flight late in the afternoon into the evening, it looks like travel at most locations is doing pretty good. Let's get rid of that because we'll show you that tomorrow. Will?
All right, thank you, Rich. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on KXAN. Starting at 7, it's St. Denis Medical, followed by Night Court at 7:30, then The Voice at 8, and The Irrational at 9. You can join us back here, though, for KXAN News at 10. Another star has been added to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That honor went to award-winning actress Kerry Washington. She is best known for her role in the show Scandal, and in her acceptance speech, Washington thanked all the supporters that helped her throughout her career. Now, get this, her star is actually the 2,796th one to be placed on the Walk of Fame. A very well-deserved honor. Love her.
Oh, she looks fabulous too, as always.
Always gorgeous.
Okay, we want to get one check outside as people are maybe heading out for lunch, heading out to grab some coffee this afternoon.
For sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at your out-the-door forecast. Temperatures expected there to be at around 66 degrees by 3 p.m. By 5 p.m., 63. And then we're back down into the 50s after that as we drop farther down. Your 7-day forecast showing the rain chances do continue over the next few days, but your best chances are going to be tonight leading into tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Those 3 days are going to be your best chances of rain. Now, Friday and Saturday also going to be your coldest mornings as we drop down into the 30s and 40s. The game itself, well, at least for here at home, we're looking at 57 degrees for Saturday itself. Then by Monday, 73 degrees. Another front comes in and our temperatures back down again by Tuesday, 65 as a high. And we love it.
Ooh, looking pretty cold this weekend, too.
Loving all of it.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for watching this afternoon. We'll see you back in about 30 minutes with another update. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care.